Hi, friends. Welcome to Enlightened World Network. We are here for the May monthly forecast, and we have got EWN's very favorite numerologist, Michele Landers, here. Michele, thank you for being here, and thank you for bringing us whatever May is going to unfold.
Okay, well, thank you, Ruth, and thank you so much to EWN. And you know how much I love EWN and everyone on it. So thank you. Yes, yes, yes. So it's interesting because when I hear May, for some reason I'm triggered back to when I was a little girl and I went to see the play Camelot. And in Camelot, there's a song, it's May, the lusty month of May. So, and is it going to be lusty? Oh boy, is it going to be lusty. So we have a lot of numerological, exciting and challenging activity going on, as well as astrological. So I'm going to start off with one date. I want to put it out there with the caveat that astrologically May 19th is they're saying a lot of the astrologers and the transit that's going on. I think it's a Pluto. Oh, it's not the Pluto in Aquarius. It's Pluto opposite, I think, Mars, or Mars opposite Pluto, whatever. Yeah. Okay. So what does that mean? May 19th, and this remains to be seen. I want to see how this plays out myself. Now, numerologically, it is a really hard day, but we've had other hard days before, and the world hasn't exploded. But this, in addition to the astrological aspects, is indicating some kind of big shift in leadership and something hard. So that remains to be seen. I will tell you the numbers. And let me just close out this other site so we don't hear that ding, ding, dinging. It is numerologically, when I add all the numbers in a certain sequence, it's a 13-4 day. That in the tarot is the death card. That doesn't necessarily ever mean death. It means transformation. It has the energy of 11-2, which is Uranus, and that's surprises or shocks. It has the energy of the 5, which is changes. So with that being said, the interesting part about it is there are a couple of astrologers who are saying that Mars and Pluto, or opposite Pluto, is going to cause some kind of breakout or breakdown, a global type of thing, or it could be right here in the US. So I'm just putting that out there. Let's put it aside. We'll see what happens. So we started off today. And it's so funny because sometimes I think I should do these the day before. But today, Pluto stations for its annual retrograde phase. So it's stationed retrograde. Okay. So it just entered Aquarius on Pluto entered Aquarius on March 23rd. But what happens with Pluto in Aquarius, that's very exciting. I've talked about it before. That's great news. It's a breakdown, but Pluto just rearranges and takes things apart, and can be death in the sense of breaking things down. But Aquarius is humanitarian, and the Aquarian energy is everybody's included. Everybody, come one, come all. You're all welcome. So it's giving power to the people. So that Pluto in Aquarius is a really good sign, but it's going to toggle back and forth, which I talked about before. I want to keep reminding people, from Capricorn to Aquarius, but by next year, it's going to be stationed in Aquarius for about 20 years. So when a planet is stationed retrograde, it seems like it stops. And before it goes retrograde. So it looks like it's stationary retrograde, but it is going to be in retrograde. So that is the energy today. And so what did I hear today, right? It's about unfinished business. I heard another bank today went under. There was something else that happened today, but so there was some big news today. I know that every month there is big news, and there is every single month, and it's going to be that way because we're in this incredible transition period. But May is definitely a big planetary news month. So I call this month a pregnant month. And the reason I call it a pregnant month, it just came to me because it's so filled with things ready to birth. And you know what it is, or anyone who's a mother and went through labor, that's not easy. So it's another month and we have some intense moments, but it's so rich with possibilities because it is a pivotal month that's setting the stage for a lot of things that are happening, and especially that Pluto in Aquarius. So a lot of activity, a lot of planetary action. I want to talk again about that water issue. Recently had another historic flood in the Mississippi, and the flooding that I've been talking about from the beginning of the year. Just a reminder, it's pretty much going to continue. Why is that? Well, astrologically, I know there's a lot of things going on, but numerologically, we're in a 7-year all year long. 7 resonates to Neptune. Neptune resonates to water, among other things. So that is going to continue all year long. But let's talk about some of the numerological aspects. So May by itself is the 5th month. And I want to take a look at the energy of the 5, but we also have the number 7 for 2023. So when we add 7 to 5 for May, what we arrive at is a number 12. And when we add 1 plus 2 together, we have a number 3. So we have all those numbers to interpret. Now the 12, here's some of the great things. 12 is so creative. It's creative thinking, it's independence, it's self-reliance, but it's also very much a collaboration with others. So it's writing and thinking and independence, but collaboration and hope. Both the number 3 and 5 are these fast-moving numbers. So right off the bat, we know that this month is going to start off, it's going to be like this mad dash right out of the gate. It's going to be a very active, busy month. So the number 5 is freedom, freedom in action. And freedom is ruled by Mercury. So it can be highly volatile. So we can expect what? Change, freedom. And that freedom will have so much to do with freedom of speech is the big bywords, I guess, this month. That is the mantra, freedom of speech. And that is going to appear all over the place. People even more so are going to be speaking out and talking and revolting, yes, and wanting to make their voice heard. So the 5, and because we have 5 and 3, and 3 is also about words and speaking out and just speaking. So we'll hear some beautiful things along with this energy. I got to say this, I've got to get this out, or I'm not going to take this anymore. And there's a lot of stuff with the entertainment field going on. And I just heard this morning, which I'll mention in here, I heard this morning that I guess there is a strike going on or something in Hollywood, something to do with that. Okay, so we talked about the 3 and the 5. And again, the 3 is also about words too. So we're also experiencing lots of energetic transformation, transmission, and galactic downloads. So if anybody's wondering, okay, wait a minute. What the heck is galactic downloads? And I'll just try and explain it briefly. So, the belief in the spiritual community is that we're being guided. We're being guided. We're being affected and overseen by this higher spiritual energy, by the divine, by these higher beings, whether they're aliens or whether they're angels, but there is a number of levels, astral planes, and we're being guided by a lot of these very benevolent beings. And they're sending us energetic transmission or downloads. Why are they doing it? To raise our vibration, raise our consciousness, to be more in harmony, not only with one another and to awaken, but to be more in harmony because we're going into this 5D world. And so they, in essence, are readying us for this change. And I know it all sounds so wild and crazy, but as I had mentioned privately to Ruth, is that my own physician is really, and she's amazing, and she says this is the wave of the future, is energy medicine and frequency. So it's not all this, people listen to this sometimes and they think, oh, this is crazy, this is wild. It's not so crazy and it's not so wild. So just, kind of open your mind to the possibility that these things do exist and they're going to be helping us in the future in a really beautiful way. So we certainly are, when this happens, these downloads and this galactic energy, we will likely not only experience disruptions, which is going on in the world, but now I think more and more people are feeling it physically. I know I am. And I do believe this is because of these transmissions and downloads. And here's our bodies trying to acclimate to it, what's going on. So you know what it's like when you start any kind of healthier program, whether that's eating or exercising or spiritually meditating. Sometimes what happens is we kind of feel out of sorts. And so that's what's happening with us, until we can get into the rhythm of it. So that's happening with us. It's happening with the world. And we have this numerological and astrological energy. So guess what? It's a lot. So the number 5 is also about flexibility. In the tarot, and I just love this, in the tarot, which I, again, did not bring out the cards, but it is the Hierophant. The number 5 in the tarot is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is considered the bridge between heaven and earth. Now, how appropriate is that? And in the image of the Hierophant, and I hope I'm saying that right after all these years of reading tarot cards. I don't know if it's Hierophant or Hierophant, but the image is of a religious figure, you could say, or a spiritual teacher or a priest, and he's flanked by, at the bottom of the card, there's these 2 followers, right? And the card represents being initiated into a higher level of consciousness. So, wow, that is a perfect representation of what I'm talking about with all these downloads and what's happening to all of us right now. In addition, it's so telling because according to this one astrologer, Pam Gregory, she also said that May is a pivot point between the old and the new. And the whole of May is this massive energetic, this energy that's going on. So it's a really important month that can be turbulent, volatile, but also uplifting and very creative. And so I do want to talk about the positive energies of the number 5 and what's happening. It's intensely inquisitive and has a strong desire to explore new horizons. And number 5, again, is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury, besides what I was talking about before, it's also with words, it's associated with good communication skills. And it's very harmonious with the number 3, which is also part of that energy. And Mercury, besides being a thinking mind energy, it also represents health and youthfulness. Now, the number 3 is also about youthfulness. So my thought is there's going to be more attention on children, children's issues, schools, more attention on things that have to do with youth or playfulness, emphasis on fun activities. And that's why I included the media as well, the entertainment field, movies. So all of that is going to be more on the forefront. So whenever the number 3 shows up in your life, in your chart, it's generally an omen, a positive omen of creativity, of communication, optimism, curiosity. Now, the challenge with the 3, and we're gonna experience both. The challenge of the 3 is it just cautions us, don't scatter your energies, don't be too critical, don't tell untruth, stay focused. So I can't imagine that we won't be experiencing a flurry of words, and talking, and changing conversations and fast moving energy. But on the other side of this energy is that these conversations, all this talking, well, some of it is going to deliver some really positive news. And some of it, we have to really discriminate, because some of it can be unreliable. And we're going to see rash decisions being made, some inconsistencies. Excuse me. So 3 is also ruled by the biggest planet, Jupiter. Now, Jupiter expands things. So it's going to be expansive again when it comes to words and communications. And all those things that I mentioned will be expanded in positive ways and then in not so positive ways. And Jupiter is also the planet of affluence, ambition, knowledge, and wisdom. So as I began, when I started this, I was talking about May 1st, and I said that May 1st starts off with a bang. So it represents a huge shift and magnifies that Pluto energy. So again, the Pluto energy is what? It's transformation, regeneration, rebirth, purging, destruction, life, and death. And according to another astrologer, Ashley Henry, I think, yeah, that's her name, she feels globally that it's going to cause people to migrate to other areas for whatever reason. Now, I find that really pretty accurate, because I know that some of the flooding that has been going on, people have had to move. They've had to go to different areas. So that made perfect sense to what I was saying anyway. It also can represent some government restrictions. We're all familiar with that. So more of that talk is going on about that. Earthquakes, possible tsunami, possible volcano activity. May is really strongly aspected for that. I hope it doesn't happen, but it feels pretty strong. There will be, this 5 energy. The great part of it is curiosity and restlessness and wanting to change things. That's great. But that Mars energy is also about anger and people lashing out. So we have some other big news on May 5th, which is coming up, and that's the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So one of the things I want to say about a lunar eclipse and the full moon is this energy. A lot of people think, oh, this stuff is going to happen right on that day. That's not necessarily true. It's kind of spread out. So that's like the pivot point, or that's the apex of that energy. But that energy is a little bit before, excuse me, a little bit after. So what is Scorpio? Scorpio is hidden information. It's also, we have Uranus, so that could be shocking. So things that are shocking are revealed. The other thing about eclipses is it usually brings some permanent change. So things can be intense and things can come to a head because that's what full moons do. But we're starting to just hammer in or laying the foundation for a new positive earth. And I keep saying that because I absolutely believe it despite what's going on. If we pay attention, we see that there are these little glimpses of hope and changes in the healthcare system. That might come a little bit later, but that's going to change. But now we are seeing like new medications and new ways of treating health. More and more and more people and doctors are getting on board with alternative medicines. So another thing, I'm just going to go back to something else I realized about this 5 and 3, and that's about relationships. So relationships are really, really emphasized. And that's not just on May 5th, but it is really emphasized. So what it does with us and with the world is it can bring up things we haven't thought about in a while, or things that are coming back for our attention. And that is globally and personally. Things maybe from a year or so ago can resurface. So at any full moon, it's always about releasing, but this is a lunar eclipse in addition, and Scorpio rules mystery. So it can bring up mysteries that are being revealed, secrets that are being revealed. And I also want to mention that, again, this whole alien thing, the United States has been dripping info about UFOs. I've mentioned it numerous times. They just said recently that sightings have gone from 144, they're up to over 500, like 510. Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, 2 years ago when this started, when I noticed that they were dripping information, I said, they're getting ready. So now the Pentagon has formally announced that it's investigating UFOs. Again, secrets coming to the foreground, things underhanded, things underground. So that can be both literally and figuratively. So literally water, literally oil, things rising up to the surface. And the other thing I wanted to mention, because I noticed, today there was a bank, Taurus is all about money and security, and that's what we are into. So another bank went under. I think that the market might drop. That wouldn't be unusual at all, but it's going to rebound. I will stick to this. I do not think we're going into a recession. We will probably have more ups and downs, of course, but I don't believe that we're going into any kind of recession. So I'm just telling people, don't freak out about the market. It'll correct itself pretty quickly. So more info about toxic environments, because Scorpio is linked to trust and betrayal. And how does that apply to us personally is just another reminder for us what And this is really important this month. It's important all the time, but you're going to have the support of the energies and the planets and the numbers that are abounding right now in this month. But so what is it that you need to shed? I'm so feeling that energy about emotionally, spiritually, physically. What are the things that I need to shed? What do I need to let go of? I really feel this nudging from the universe, and the numbers, they're about change, they're about communication, they're about relationships, and all the astrological, I think we have 5 really active planets right now, all doing the same thing. What do you need to shed? What do you need to get rid of? What do you need to change? Change. Do it now, or at least start the process of doing it, looking at your life differently. So, okay, I want to move on to another transit that occurs May 16th, and that will go through till May 25th of 2024. So it's just starting, and that's Jupiter. And in some ways, we really like Jupiter because it's the planet of abundance and expansion, and it enters Taurus. And when that happens, Jupiter is going to shine a spotlight on all the characteristics of Taurus. It's expansive. So what is Taurus? Taurus is about security. It's very earthbound. Your home base, real estate, earthy things, food, our self-worth. It can mean advancement. Taurus rules money. So how I think this might play out in business is it can mean some businesses, especially in the health and service industries, could really just explode. And I don't mean explode in a negative way, although every time I say that, I go, maybe it does, but I'm choosing to believe that the positive aspects are some businesses are really going to be growing and positive and profitable. And there are other businesses that, again, Jupiter expands whatever is. So some businesses will be crumbling. And I just heard about Bed Bath and Beyond closing, couple of other major chains that are closing. So this is a long transit though, and it won't be all smooth sailing, but it's not going to be all negative either. The indications though are so positive for organic foods, farming, health, the body, land construction. And I love this because we are definitely going towards and in the midst of new innovative ways to build homes, new products, land construction, building materials that are not harmful, getting rid of the plastics. It's also interesting. I don't know how this is going to play out, but the indications are there that luxury items or really quality items, people are going to be more interested in really good, positive, quality stuff, luxury stuff or quality stuff. Also, things to beautify. People are going to be looking for beautiful things or ways to enhance their environment and their homes. And again, organic construction, green building products, nutrition, health biz. I would tell anybody this is really, really a great time to get into any of those businesses. I mean, alternative medicine, because that is the wave of the future. And you're getting a lot of support from the universe. Not that you wouldn't any other time. It's just that sometimes things come together and it's just so empowering. As a side note, Jupiter can expand your weight when it transits. So if it's in your sun sign or your ascendant, Just watch that. Okay, so the other thing, both Taurus and Scorpio are signs that tend to be attached or addicted. So what does that tell me? Means more focus on healing in those areas of addiction. It also can mean more people becoming addicted. And then the personal question is, and I want people to really think long and hard about this, what are you addicted to? And if, you know, some people say, well, I'm not addicted to anything. Well, do you have to have coffee every morning or tea every morning? What habits are you addicted to? So I'm not saying that having coffee every morning is bad. I'm just asking you, what happens if I take your coffee away? You know, and so an addiction is addiction. And by the way, people can be addicted to spiritual growth. And what I mean by that, there's nothing wrong. In fact, there's everything right about exploring spiritual studies and growing and learning. But if you're addicted to it, like I must have my Birkenstocks, or I must have my organic meals a certain way, or I must have, even I must meditate 45 minutes every day, or, you know, when you have those must-haves, you're addicted. So addiction to anything is still an addiction and is attachment. And what we're working towards is non-attachment. So it's a massive month energetically, numerologically, astrologically. What else did I have here? Okay, international affairs definitely can be upheavals and shocking. Lots of legal matters, lots of things, love and money tied together. So we can expect a lot of power plays globally, a lot, but also I want people to be aware of how this energy is affecting us in our own life. So since it is so much about power, let's just question, you know, where are you giving away your power? Who do you feel has power over you? Are you attempting to control situations or people? So there can be a lot of out of control energy globally and personally, and it may cause us to feel emotionally reactive. So it's time. It is time to shed the old you. And I really, really want to emphasize that. So overall, you know, fasten your seatbelt, keep your eyes open, keep your eye on the prize. There are many good things about the month as far as creativity, birthing new things, and surprising things, both positive and challenging. But overall, it's going to be a busy, fast-moving month. So that's May. And thank you so much.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
There. Wow. I've really connected with May being a pivot point.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. And the change and the reset, the rebirth, the purging. There was so much there. And you asked a couple of really good questions, you know, that could really lead us. What do you need to shed or let go of? What are you addicted to? And I love that you brought up spiritual growth as something you can be addicted to. Absolutely. Flexibility and the freedom of speech. I mean, wow, what a rich or pregnant month, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you mentioned freedom of speech, what came through to me was giving yourself the freedom to say what's on your mind.
Oh, yes, Ruth. I love that. Yes.
For a lot
Absolutely.
of women in particular, I think that's really hard.
Yes, it is. It is. It's very challenging. And That is so true. So it is very much about women, and more women are speaking out. If you noticed, there are more and more women who are saying enough, and hopefully we can, as a group, as a unit, affect some changes. And we don't have to do it in an ugly way. It's just standing our ground and speaking our mind and not being in fear. So that is a really good point about women. Thank you.
And then one other thing you said was about, let me see if I can find it here. It was basically about making change and curiosity and, just sort of going with the flow. You had mentioned that, but you said something that reminded me of a quote from Ted Lasso. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of the Ted Lasso.
I just saw one or two of them, and I've been wanting to go back to it because I heard that it's just wonderful.
It's really special. For some reason,
Okay.
it just kind of touches me. But one of the quotes from this last one was, "What is needed in this situation?" And really just being open to going with the flow and just, okay, what is really needed now?
Right.
Something you said just really led me to that. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it is real. Again, the pivot, the word pivot and pregnant, the two P's just really stand out to me this month. And I know for you, you said pivot. And it is definitely a time for us to just examine what is going on in our life and dig deep. What is it that you need to change that you're not seeing, that you are not aware of, that's underneath? It's all about digging deep underneath, pulling it up. Things don't have to be the way they've been unless you love it. If you love the way things are, then I say just keep doing what you're doing. But if you're feeling a little bit that twinge, and I think when we're on the verge of birthing something really great, we get that it's almost like an uncomfortable feeling, like what's going on? So if we go into that and say, I really want to know, I'm okay with feeling this, whatever this energy is. So I want to know where it's leading me. I want to know what I need to change. I want to know what I need to do next. There's a great couple of lines from A Course in Miracles, and I think it's so appropriate. And it's, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say, and to whom? And so those are great questions to ask the universe. Like, okay, I'm not sure, but where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say, and to whom? And then just wait for the answer, because you'll get it. You'll get it. Yeah. So it's kind of exciting this month.
Kind of a nice change, actually, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Michele, if people want to know more about you, how do they find you, and how do they sign up for your newsletter? Because really, there's always such good stuff in there.
Oh, thank you, Ruth. Thank you so much. It's my name, Michele Landers, Michele with one L, MicheleLanders.com. And I really encourage people, because of the year and the energy, if you want to know what's going on in your life, get your chart done. It has so much guidance in there. Of course I'm prejudiced, but that's what I do, the numerology and coaching. And also I'm more than happy to chat with anybody for 15 or 20 minutes for free. Just go to my my website and schedule an appointment through my scheduler. And that's pretty much it. Whatever you want to talk about, whether it's coaching or numerology or spirituality, I'm be glad to have that conversation. So
Perfect. Thank you. Michele is an amazing teacher. I also want to point out, she's also an amazing author. So she has a couple of books out. So please check out her work. So friends, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for starting your month with us. And Michele Landers, thank you. I love working with you. We're on year 3, I think now, and it's amazing. So
As I do. Thank you too, Ruth, and Enlightened World Network. What a gift to everyone, really. Thank you.
thank you. Friends, take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.